What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Hot List. I am your host, Matt Johnson with Keller Realty, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. In the Hot List, we talk about properties new to the market with recent price reductions or something unique about the property that I want to share with y'all and want y'all to know. I also answer a question of the day that is submitted by a listener of the podcast. To find out how you get your question answered on air, just stick around till the end. Finally, I recognize and thank a sponsor of the week each and every single week. If you're curious about what it takes to become a sponsor of the week and be featured on the hot list, all you got to do is hang out with me for a few minutes and I will gladly get that information over to you. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. However you're listening to this, whether it's on your podcast player of choice, maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's YouTube, whatever the case may be, thank you so much. Don't forget to share this, leave a review. Leaving a review not only is going to help the show get in front of more people, that's also going to help me help more people. In order to do that, I need your help to get in front of more people by leaving me a review on your podcast player of choice. And don't forget to subscribe to it as well. So the property we are talking about today is a recently listed property. The address is 898 Avenue B in Olivet. So it's about a 25-30 minute drive from the Emporia area. What is unique about this property? It's 3/4 of a mile from Melbourne Lake. So if you do boating, fishing, camping, you're going to be less than a mile from Melbourne Lake, which is a phenomenal lake around this area. So this house is a 4-bed, 2-bath house, plus it has over 4 garages. Sounds pretty crazy, right? Well, I'll get into that in a little more detail. So it has 3,164 square feet of finished space, currently listed for $330,000, courtesy of Eck Real Estate. Again, this is a 1.5-story home. It sits on 6.2 acres, less than a mile from Melbourne Lake. It has 2 bedrooms on the main level, as well as both bathrooms are located on the main level. In the basement, it does have 2 non-conforming bedrooms down there. It has a full finished basement, and then the second story is kind of like a balcony loft area. So it has two attached garage storage or parking spaces, and then it does have a shop that is 40 by 80 that is detached. It's got all new electrical in the shop. There's been a ton of updates in the house itself. There's too many to list, so all you got to do is click on the link in the description. That's going to take you right to my website so you can see the property for yourself. Check out the acreage, the trees, the shop, and all the updates that they have done in the house. If you have any questions about the property, all you got to do is shoot me a message, whether it's on my website or the podcast player that you're listening to this on. You can just drop me a comment and I would be happy to reach out to you, have a little bit more in-depth conversation. If you are a pre-approved buyer, not currently working with an agent, I would also be happy to have that conversation with you as well. Before I get to the question of the day, I do want to recognize and thank our sponsor of the week this week, and that is Dynamic Disc. They were started in 2005 and have just really grown leaps and bounds since then. This week, for those that know, is the Dynamic Disc Open. And for more information on that, make sure you just click on the link in the description, and that's going to take you right to Dynamic Disc website. You can get some more information. You can get your gear there. They even have articles of, why it was formerly known as the Glass Blown Open. There's an article and an interview with Jeremy Rusko there, kind of what the motivation was behind changing changing the name. And there's some great articles there. You can also pick up some gear, some accessories, anything that you need to get on the course, they're going to have. And make sure that you tune in and check out the DDO this week. It's going to start on Thursday. Make sure that you tune in, check it out. If you haven't bought a spectator badge, get a spectator badge while you can. I actually picked mine up yesterday at the store. And let me tell you, that place was absolutely packed. It was phenomenal to see people in there, see people from all over. RV grounds are full, campgrounds are full, hotels are full. It is absolutely amazing. And to still see them take precautions and safety protocols to accommodate so many people. They are limiting the number of people in the stores. They are doing absolutely everything possible to keep the players, visitors, and spectators safe. So a big kudos to Dynamic Disc, as well as everybody else that is helping with this, to just go the lengths that they are to keep safety protocols in place and keep as many people happy, safe, and healthy. So thank you again to Jeremy and Dynamic Disc for being proactive with all the safety protocols they're going through. If you're curious about what it takes to become a sponsor of the week and be featured on the hot list, all you got to do is reach out to me through my website. You can reach out through Facebook, YouTube. I would be happy to have a conversation with you about what it takes to become a sponsor of the week and be featured in the hot list Monday through Friday. It's something that I love doing, and each week I'm able to do this. I am grateful for every business and every company that allows me to feature them in the hot list. Thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate it and look forward to featuring you on the hot list. All right, that is going to bring us to my favorite portion of the day, and that is the question of the day. Again, the question of the day is submitted by a listener of the podcast. So each and every day I answer a question and do this. It is submitted by a listener of the podcast. So wherever you're at, if you have a real estate question, you're not sure where to start, I would be happy to be the real estate resource that you start with and reach out to. All you have to do is shoot me a message through social media or drop it in the comments on the podcast player that you are listening to. I'd be happy to not only answer that question for you, but answer it for everybody else and use it for content. Again, because if you have that question, the chance that somebody else has that same question or a similar question, those chances are really high. And I want to do what I can to not only help answer your question, but answer everybody else's question as well. So, question of the day: how can I make my home more pet friendly? Well, as somebody who currently has 3 dogs, who has had multiple dogs in the past, as well as a couple cat rescues that my daughter brought home, I can fully help answer this question and love this question, because whose pet doesn't play a large role in their family? I mean, there are pets. They play a role. There are pets, there are companions, and to an extent, they are our family as well. Now, I also read an article recently that millennials, their number one driving force in 2020 were their pets, having a home or having a place for their pets. And again, as they should be, the pets are more than just our companions. They are our family. And you want to keep them healthy and safe, just like you would yourself and your children. One way to improve on a home's overall pet friendliness is to kind of go through the same steps you would when it comes to baby proofing a house before you bring home your child or before they start crawling and walking. This helps prevent any accidents or other potential issues down the road. And doing this now is going to make your home more pet friendly and save those headaches down the road. Just like with children, there are going to be different concerns to consider when trying to come up with ways to make your home a little more pet friendly. So there's going to be some questions that you want to ask and go through. For example, are there areas of your home your pet might get hurt or sick if they get into? Or does your pet like to chew on things? For example, one of my first bird dogs was a lab. We learned she likes to chew on anything that is wood, especially when she was teething. She would chew on something that anything she could find that was wood. For example, we learned that she liked to chew on my wife's grandma's rocking chair. We had no idea because it was kind of stuck back in a corner. It was to show you didn't really sit in, and we didn't know that my lab, when she was young, she would sit back in that corner. We thought she was sleeping. Well, she was chewing on the rocking chair. And she started at the back of the legs and kind of worked her way up. So we never really noticed. We didn't notice until my wife went to sit down in the chair just to kind of reminisce about her grandma sitting in that chair, rocking back and forth. And as she went to sit down, the chair collapsed. And it was then that we knew my dog had been chewing on it and actually ruined the chair, and we weren't able to salvage the chair, and my wife was upset with me, which I get. It was my dog. So if your pet likes to chew on something, what in your home is made of that material? So take a quick inventory of all things that you don't want your pet to chew on, damage, or break. Can some or all of those things be replaced? Pet friendliness is going to include more than just restricting access to certain parts of your home. In order for your home to be true pet friendly and keep your pet safe, it also needs to protect your home against the pet. And there are different ways that you can accomplish this. There's no one way that is going to be right. And the way that you approach pet proofing your home is going to depend on how the home is designed and decorated. So, what we're going to talk about today are going to be the 4 most common pet proofing techniques. So, number 1 is going to be peeling paint. Check the interior as well as the exterior of your home if your pets stay on the outside. For example, dogs. My dogs, I let them out in the backyard, just let them run, just let them roam, and get a little bit of sunshine. You want to check these areas for peeling paint or similar problems, especially if you have an older home. This could be an issue or a concern because some paints contain materials that could be toxic for your pet if it's ingested. What I like to remind people, any home that was built in 1978 or older has a chance of having lead-based paint. So what you want to do is remove any peeling paint in the areas, give it a fresh coat of pet-safe paint that are going to help keep your pets and your companions safe. We actually get our paint through Sherwin-Williams, and the paint that we get for the interior of our home is pet safe. Why is it pet safe? Because my son's dog likes to lick the walls and rub himself up and down the walls. I have no idea why. It's just something that he does. You can see him and watch him walk around the house, and he'll just start licking the walls. Super weird, but he's just like Chase, who is also super weird. Number 2, securing potentially dangerous areas. Are there going to be any areas in your home that are potentially dangerous and need secured? For example, staircases, fireplace, crawl space. Also, so you want to check to make sure that any of these areas may need secured and your pet can't get into them. Also, you'll want to replace any rusted or loose coverings, whether it's fireplace coverings, floor coverings, and make sure that these can't be pulled back or free from your pet just working on it, or working it back and forth to try to get in there. Also, what has worked for us, you can laugh if you want to, but this has actually worked pretty well for us. Install baby gates. I Again, let the laughing begin. But as needed, this can restrict your pet access but allow you access as well. Now, if your pet is a jumper like a cat, or depending on the breed of dog, you may have to look at doing something else, but this has worked for us. Number 3, cleaners and chemicals. Just like with children, you want to lock up cleaners and chemicals so your pets can't get access to them. Hopefully you haven't had this happen, but I actually, my German short hair, we had to do this because he was very nosy. He was also a 75-pound bird dog. So there weren't a whole lot of places that he couldn't get into. He was very nosy. He would paw at something or use his nose to try to shove a door open and get into anywhere that he could. We couldn't figure it out. And then I started realizing that, and started reading, there's actually some scented cleaners that may resemble or smell a lot like your pet's food, which is the case with him. So if you have, even if you have a non-toxic cleaner, if they're scented, it may resemble a similar smell, and it may make your pet sick or cause other problems if they're ingested. So just do what you can to keep those locked up and away from your pets, as well as any medications that you have, whether it's prescription or over-the-counter medications. Lock those up as well. Keep those out of your pet's reach, whether you have a dog or a cat. You don't want them getting into those and making themselves sick. And finally, number 4, the most popular one, at least in our house, your trash can. Now, I don't know about cats, but having had 6 or 7 dogs come through this house now, every dog that we have had, as well as my kids have had that they've brought, have loved our trash can. So we actually upgraded to a secured lid trash can. I would definitely recommend getting one that is hands-free. This not only keeps the trash from being spread all over the house, this also keeps your pet from eating anything in there that you don't want them to, or they shouldn't be eating. So those are the 4 most common pet proofing technique. Again, the peeling paint, just scrape it back, do a fresh coat of pet safe paint on there, something non-toxic. Number 2, secure dangerous areas like stairwell, fireplace, crawl space, so your pet can't get in there and hurt themselves or get stuck. Number 3, cleaners and chemicals. Lock them up because they may resemble a similar smell to a pet's food, or because it's a new smell, different smell, they want to try to get in there and eat it. And finally, number 4, trash can. Get a secured lid trash can. Again, I would recommend one that's hands-free. Hopefully that keeps your pet from knocking it over, getting in there, and spreading it all throughout your house. Keep in mind, this list is just the most common list and is a place to start. This is not the end all be all list to secure or make your home more pet friendly. After all, the end goal for all of us is to make sure that fewer things are within our pet's reach, keep them safe, because we want them to live longer, healthier lives with us. That's why we have them. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to the hot list. Again, I'm your host, Matt Johnson with Keller Williams Realty. I do this because your experience matters and should be trusted with a veteran. Y'all have a phenomenal day, and I will see you back in here tomorrow. Take care.